Dozens killed in Turkish cargo plane crash. Dozens were killed Monday when a Turkish cargo plane crashed while attempting to land at Kyrgyzstan's main airport. Kyrgyzstan airport officials say a Turkish Boeing 747 cargo plane was making a stopover on its way from Hong Kong to Istanbul when it crashed in a village near the Manas airport while trying to land in dense fog. At least 15 buildings were damaged in the accident, and at least 30 people were killed. Local officials expect the death toll to rise as they continue rescue efforts. According to Flight Radar 24, the plane was operated by ACT MyCargo Airlines, a Turkish cargo airline based in Istanbul. Here are some other horrific plane accidents that have taken place in the past few years.
At least 12 dead after TransAsia flight crashes into Taipei's Geelong River. At least 12 people are confirmed dead after a TransAsia ATR 72600 crashed into the Geelong River in New Taipei City on Wednesday morning. Flight GE235 had taken off only moments before the pilot transmitted a mayday call to report engine failure. Air traffic control lost contact with the plane at 10:55 a.m. Many of the 58 people on board, including 5 crew and 2 children, were able to exit the wreckage and swim to the riverbank. The French-made twin prop had just taken off from Taipei's Songshan Airport, crashing 5 minutes into its planned 55-minute journey to Taiwan's Jinmen Island, just off China's coast. Rescue crews were scrambled to the river, and machinery has been deployed to help emergency services cut into the fuselage and get access to those still trapped inside the partially submerged plane. The driver of the taxi struck by the doomed plane as it clipped the bridge has survived.
Report claims Egypt Air pilot spoke to air traffic control just before crash. A clearer picture of what happened on board an Egypt Air plane before it crashed is beginning to emerge. Egypt is currently leading a multi-nation search for the plane's black boxes in the eastern Mediterranean. But experts say data sent by the plane indicates it was brought down by an internal explosion. Leaked data suggests an explosion ripped through the right side of Egypt Air Flight 804 as it flew from Paris to Cairo last Thursday. French officials said smoke detectors on the plane were activated minutes before it crashed, but the cause of the smoke or fire remained unclear. The data was taken from the plane's aircraft communications addressing and reporting system, which sent 3 separate warnings. A French TV station report said the pilot spoke to air traffic control in Cairo about the smoke, contradicting official claims that there was no distress call. The report said the pilot spoke for several minutes, saying that smoke had engulfed parts of the plane and he was going to make an emergency descent. Just a few minutes later, the plane then vanished from radar in the early hours of Thursday morning. Experts say a bomb could be responsible for the explosion, but no terrorist group has claimed responsibility for the crash. The search for the plane's black boxes continued on Monday as Egypt mourned the loss of 30 of its citizens. Some 56 passengers and 10 crew members were aboard the fatal flight when it crashed, including 15 French nationals.
How the Russian METROJET may have disintegrated in mid-air. Aviation officials believe the Russian METROJET that crashed on Saturday morning over the Sinai Peninsula disintegrated while in the sky. Officials consider the scattering of wreckage over an area of around 20 square kilometers as a sign the plane broke up in mid-air. Possible causes for the Russian airliner's disintegration include technical and mechanical failure, sabotage, an onboard bomb, and the firing of a missile. The plane's tail had reportedly been struck in 2001. If not repaired correctly, this could have damaged the rear pressure bulkhead, potentially causing an explosive decompression. If technical failure is ruled out, an onboard bomb may be taken into consideration, especially with recent ISIS threats in response to Russian airstrikes in Syria. Another possibility comes from an Egyptian official who told Reuters that the plane split in two, with the tail section separating and burning. This may indicate an explosion. Another possibility, still linked to terrorism, is that the plane was brought down by a militant group linked to the Islamic State in Egypt. Although experts say the militant group does not have the capability to shoot down a plane flying at 31,000 feet. In another scenario, the plane may have been sabotaged at the airport before taking off. According to The Independent, the wife of one of the pilots said her husband was concerned about the plane's technical condition. The airline, however, ruled out technical failure, saying the aircraft was in excellent condition. Officials believe it is still too early to draw conclusions on the crash, as it may take weeks to find out what really happened.
Crash investigators try to determine if plane ran out of fuel. Investigators probing the site of this week's plane crash in Colombia are trying to determine whether or not the plane ran out of fuel. Moments before Lamia Airlines Flight 2933 crashed on Monday, its co-pilot reportedly told Medellin Airport Control that the plane suffered a total electrical failure without fuel. The flight was carrying 77 passengers, including Brazil's Chapecoense football team, flight crew, and journalists from Santa Cruz in Bolivia. 71 were killed in the crash. The distance to Medellin is 1,839 miles. Lamia 2933 was reportedly a British Aerospace 146 Avro RJ-85 plane with a maximum fuel capacity that would carry it 1,842 miles. Lamia Airlines CEO Gustavo Vargas told Reuters that the decision of whether or not to refuel en route is at the pilot's discretion. The plane didn't explode when crashing, and so far, investigators haven't found traces of fuel at the crash site. Nearly all members of the Chapecoense team were killed in the crash.